Hello everyone, this is Homer White with a tip or two on RStudio. This time our topic is how to get stuff from the Math 111 Common folder into your Home folder so that you can modify it and use it in your own ways. So there are a couple of different times when you might want to do something like that. Let's go over to the Common folder right now. So we go to the ellipses, and when the dialog box opens, it's /MAT111. Press OK. And we're looking in the Common folder. So one instance of wanting to get things onto your own home directory might be when you're looking at presentations. For example, say we wanted to look at a Chapter 2 presentation. How about Chapter 2, Part 1? So we open up the rpres file, and it appears in its rather unreadable source form in the files pane. And perhaps you would like to be able to see the file previewed over here in the upper right-hand corner. Well, if you try to do it right now, you'll find that you won't be allowed to, that you have to save the document in some way. You can always get a hold of the big version simply by going and opening up the HTML version, in your web browser. Let's see that. And it will pop up, in a separate pane of your browser, and you can scroll through and you can study that way, and you can copy and paste text that way. But you do have the inconvenience of having to toggle back to RStudio, toggle back and forth. So if you'd like to see it previewed in this small window, then here's what you're going to need to do. You're going to want to save this file. So with the file active, uppermost here amongst these tabs, go to File, Save As, and you want to save it in your home directory. Now, looking at the dialog box, you'll see that right now you're not in your home directory, or rather that it's not pointed at your home directory. It's pointed at the Math 111 Common folder and the presentation subfolder and the Chapter 2 subfolder. You're pointed there right now. You want to point back home. The way to point back home is to go to ellipses. And then the directions are given in the dialog box. It says for your home directory, type twiddles. So that's near the upper left-hand corner. It's a shift key. There we've got the twiddles. So we say OK, and we're looking back in our home directory, and we can now save the item here. So I'll go ahead and just save it. And it will show up in the home directory. Let's just check and make sure that it's there. When we look at our Files pane at the moment, we see that we are still in the Common folder, the Math 111. That's because we went there. Pointing back home to save the presentation document did nothing to change the fact that in the Files pane we're still looking in the Math 111 Common folder. So we need to go back home here. Let's click on the ellipses, and again enter a twiddles, and now we're back home. And when we scroll through our home directory, we'll find, there it is, Chapter 2, Part 1, the R presentation document. So this document that is saved actively here, that exists actively here in this upper pane, has now been saved into our home directory. So at this point, you own this copy of the document. You can do whatever you want with it. In particular, you can take the actions needed to preview it. So if you push the preview button, then after some rearrangement, RStudio will open up the presentation window and show you the document in the small. So now you can scroll through that document, and whenever you like, you can copy and paste commands easily down into the console. So this is a handy trick. Let me point out to you why you had to make the document your own before you could preview it. If you look back in your home folder, you're now going to see a new folder that's been created called Presentation Chapter 2 Part 1 Figure. That folder had to be created in order to preview the document, because actions had to be taken on the document in order to put it into a form that you could read easily. That folder has to be saved somewhere when you preview the document. So since you can't write to the Math 111 common folder, you can only write to something in your home directory, you needed to make the presentation document your own by making a copy of it and saving it in your home directory. Let me show you another example of a situation where you're going to want to make something your own in order to work with it in ways that you want. Let's go back to the common folder, ellipses /MAT111. Oops. So /MAT111. Okay, here we are again in the common folder. And say we wanted to grab a homework assignment that happens to be posted under Dr. White's stuff. Maybe it's under assignments. So I have a little sample homework assignment here in the form of what's called an R Markdown document. And we open it up and it appears in the Files pane, or in the source Files pane. And quite often what you'll find you want to do with a homework assignment is to modify it, to take away some of the hints and tips in the assignment and to add some of your own answers. So you'll want to use this document as a basis rather than writing up your own homework assignment just from scratch, from a blank document. In order to do that, you need to make a copy of this homework assignment document, your own copy, and save it somewhere on your home directory. So you'll go through the same exact procedure. You'll say File, Save As, and here we are in Math 111. We need to point back home by going to the ellipses. Twiddles always takes you home. Here we are home, and we can save as we wish. And let's just verify that it's there. So going to the Files pane, right now we're in Math 111, but let's look at the ellipses, come back home, and as we scroll down, we should see, yes, there is our own personal copy of this homework assignment. So now we can make any modifications that we like to it. So, for example, say that we wanted to start working on the homework assignment. Perhaps we'll write something. I am lazy, don't want to work right now. And we'd like to go ahead and save this. We can do it. It's very important when you modify a document of your own that you save it, because what you see in the screen in front of you is actually something that's in a buffer. It's not really present in the homework file that's on your home drive. In order to make those changes be a part of that file, you do have to save, just like in a regular Word document. So that's all you need for now about moving back and forth between your home folder and the common folder in order to grab copies of things that you can make your own so that you can modify them in ways that are of advantage for you. Thanks for listening.